So I'm rocking the Godox 8600. It's the TTL version. I don't use TTL, but I use it more for high-speed sync. But I don't use that as much anymore because it kind of kills your power ratios. But then just a foldable beauty dish, which is pretty convenient. But now that Nissi let me check out their ND filters and their photography system, you get a lot more power using an ND versus high-speed sync. High-speed sync does multiple bursts, from what I understand, in order to fill out when the shutter's going. So when you're just using a neutral density filter, you keep it below the max sync speed. And so yeah, you get the underexposed look while still retaining your full flash power pretty much. I've already had ND filters from Nissi. I have the IR NDs, a 3-stop and a 6-stop. And now they have a new series called the Adventure series, I believe, which is all the same coatings except the Adventure series is, I guess it's hardened glass. So I might be replacing my 3 and 6-stop with the Explorer edition since with my photography stuff, I'm a little more hard on my gear. And then I'll keep the other IRs for my video setup with my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. So you see how this works is basically you get step-up rings and you put them on your other lenses, and then this guy just spins onto there, and then that clamps down. That has a lock and that locks it down. Yeah, there's a cool case that comes with it, but I switched it out for this one by Newer. Only because it holds all my filters and the actual filter holder. The other one only had a slot for the filter holder and the polarizer, so this helps a little bit.
Hello.
Zoe.
Hi. And my house is right over on the other side of that mountain. Takes me about 30 minutes to get back and forth.
This will be more like torso up, so.
Perfect. Yeah. Now bring your hair forward. Oh, I love it right there.
Yeah, right there. Oh my god.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Let the hair go. Let it. Yeah. Go with the wind.
So bomb!
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, y'all? So I got the ugly wireless Go mic on my shirt. I should probably just put like an overshirt on to get rid of that. Hang on. All right, anyways, this was not free. I did have to pay for this. It's a pretty robust filter set. There's a lot of other brands that have similar ones. The reason I went with Nissi is because I already use their ND filters for my video work. I use their IR NDs for my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera setup, since there is some IR leakage issues with those. Just use these in a matte box, and they're just 4x4 filters. These filters do come with some step-up rings. You see the step-up ring just goes onto the lens. From there, you just take the adapter ring and you put that onto the step-up ring, and then from there, you just put the filter on. With that on, you lift this little nib up right here, and then it just goes right on. So from there, you just grab your ND of choice, and you just slide it right in there. And there it goes. A lot of landscape photographers do use these, and they use them with the 4x5.6 filters, because then you have the graduate filters, and there's also a polarizer that comes with it. Now for fashion work, polarizers aren't super useful, but I am going to try some things with this. Some long exposure photography mixed in with strobe, like fashion work. So that should be pretty fun to check out. The reason I decided to get these filters, one, I already had the IR NDs. Two, I've been working with Nissi filters for a while, not with the brand, but with the actual physical filters, and they've gotten the job done for me, and they have the IR cut, and there's not really any color cast or anything. I really like the filters. My strobe system is the Godox 8600, the TTL version, and I have their little XF1 trigger, whatever it's called. It does HSS, high-speed sync, and high-speed sync is really awesome because you just need your trigger and your flash, and you could do like shutter speeds up to 8,000 without any filters. And it's really awesome because there's no hassle. But with that, when you're using HSS, high-speed sync, It's basically putting out a burst of flashes to fill out the exposure going through the shutter. You see, if you go above your max sync speed on your camera, they're different from every camera. I show a medium format, and the max sync speed's 1/25th of a second. If you don't have HSS and you go above that max sync speed, you'll see that there will be black bars in the frame of your exposure. Using an ND filter lets you use your max shutter sync speed on your camera without having to use HSS. And so when you do that, you get the full power of the strobe. Now, the other downside to that is this ND filter is also NDing the strobe. But I've done research and I talked to my buddy Pi a little bit about it from SLR Lounge, really cool site and cool YouTube channel. He's like insanely smart with all like this technical stuff, and he's a really good photographer too. But yeah, shout out to Pi. So the way you rate NDs too, they're all different. There's like 3 different measures. The easy one is just my stops. So I have ND3 and an ND6 for my cinema work and for my photography work. Those pretty much get the job done. I also picked up their, well, as I was telling you guys before, the new Adventure Series NDs. I picked up a 10 stop one. Now, this won't really be usable for fashion, but this is more for landscape because I do want to try to get into landscape photography more. I want to start traveling more, so might as well get, or I wouldn't say landscape photography, but more travel photography. You can do a screw-on filter, but the downsides to screw-on filters is sometimes they can create vignetting and you can't stack the filters. So the cool thing with this is there's 3 slots on here, so you can stack up to 3 different square filters. But yeah, I mean, the final point of all this is when I have to travel for shoots, sometimes I can't take my lighting gear with me, and sometimes I do have to rent gear, lighting gear. Anytime you have lighting gear, you can either choose between any kind of lighting gear that will go onto your hot shoe mount on your camera, and you can use your max shutter speed, or you have to find a system that has TTL that works with your camera system that can use the HSS on your camera. So when traveling and everything, it's just easier if you have the option where you don't have to worry about all the technical stuff. You just slap an ND on there. So again, there are screw-on NDs you can use, and those are more compact. Again, this is the big old bag I have to carry. But for me, I've always just liked square NDs. I feel like that's how you get your max sharpness and quality and everything out of these filters. Yeah, but with that said, I also want to check out the Godox because I'm using the Godox 8600 for a lot of these shoots, and it's very big and heavy. So I kind of want to check out their 8400 and see how much more travel friendly that is. But either case, I will be sticking with ND filters from now on. I mean, you guys saw the unedited photos. They look pretty sharp. They look pretty clean. You can't tell that there's a color shift or anything like that. But I will cut it there then, I guess. So peace. I don't know if any of you guys know, but I'm part Native American. And how did we meet?
We met because we both were wanting to collaborate with Native artists, and I'm Navajo and from Arizona. This is my sister Zoe. This is her first shoot with Cameron, but yeah, I want to say it was like 3
Yeah, it was a while ago. 3
years ago.
So we shot once, and then she got famous, and then she never shot with me again.
No.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Totally. That's totally what's happened.
Cameron's the best.
I almost turned that. I almost missed that.